The ancient Egyptians believed that as long as the sun came up every day, there'd always be life on Earth. And therefore, quite logically, the sun became the representation for everlasting life. Put it another way, if the sun comes up every day, food will grow. If food grows, people can live and can reproduce. So that when you die, your son can carry on. And when he dies, his son will carry on, and so forth. So that as long as the sun, the light of the world, comes up every day, there will be everlasting life on Earth. So quite logically, every major religion and mystic belief features the sun as its principal and most important feature.
The Egyptians noticed that on their sundials, that in winter, as the sun moved further south, bringing, of course, our winter, that winter represents death, the coldness of death. And they noticed that when the sun went south, that it reached a point where it stopped in its movement and did not move any further south. And they began to notice on their sundials that it not only didn't go any further south, but it didn't begin to move back north either for 3 days. For 3 days, the sun set exactly on the sundial in the same place. Therefore, the ancients said that the Son of God dies for 3 days and is resurrected or brought back to life once it begins its annual journey back to the northern hemisphere. And when it begins its annual journey back to the northern hemisphere was on December 25th. Therefore, God's Son, the light of the world, who is our salvation because he is risen, was born or reborn on December 25th. Of course, the sun represented to the ancient people salvation, because they believed, especially the Egyptians said, that they noticed that if the sun continues to come up every morning, that life would continue on. When the sun comes up, the children awake, the men go off to work, and the world continues, and the flowers grow, and there will always be life on the earth as long as the sun comes up. As long as the sun is risen, there will always be life. Therefore, the Egyptians said that the Son of God, the light of the world, represented everlasting life on the earth. Not for you, but on the earth, everlasting life. That the Egyptians realized that the sun, while burning, was giving up energy, and that the plants and the food chain on earth was receiving, along with the humans and animals, were receiving the energy from the sun. Therefore, the sun was giving up its life for us. There is a phenomena that we call the precession of the equinox. It's a very interesting phenomena, a natural phenomena, that the sun, while we on earth are circling or orbiting the sun itself is orbiting through the Milky Way galaxy. And it is going through the different constellations of the zodiac. And each time the sun leaves one of the constellations of the zodiac and goes into the next constellation of the zodiac, and that's all that old evil astrology. No, it's just history. It's just science. And each time it goes into it leaves one constellation and goes into another constellation, it enters the new constellation at the 30th degree. And it leaves that constellation for the next one at the 33rd degree. Therefore, God's Son begins his ministry to each one of his helpers at 30 and dies at 33.